Mhm. job, buddy. P1 right there.
From NASCAR 2003 all the way up till iRacing current in 2022, this is the No Toad Racing League as we cap off the Xfinity Series here tonight. Championship Sunday, Homestead, Miami. You see the weather out there. It's a fine day in the sim. This is iRacing on Faded TV alongside Kyle Gretsch. As always, came into the booth about midway through this season. Has been a treat to work alongside you. What can we expect here tonight? What are you looking forward to here at Homestead, Miami in the Xfinity cars?
Well, first off, hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Yeah, Homestead, the finale here for our Xfinity Series. The rightful home of all championship finales with any NASCAR series. But yeah, we've got a battle here between Johnny Brug and Kendall Kerr here for the title, with Johnny Brug sitting about 18 points behind Kendall Kerr. We have drop weeks, so we have two events that are not going to count towards the points total. So come the end of the race, we'll kind of get a better picture of the championship here. But Johnny Brug is sitting in second, and kind of hoping here for not a nice night for Kendall Kerr, but he needs to have a perfect night tonight.
Now, this is the No Toad Racing League 2112, a Neil Peart tribute, of course, at Homestead. This is sponsored by the number 68 driver, John Barton. We got 110 laps, 3 tire changes, and 1 fast repair here tonight. And you brought up a good point. Usually Homestead Miami was the classic way to finish off the season. Last year they changed that to Phoenix, which, that's cool, but Homestead Miami, really the king of crowning champions. Let's get into the point scenarios right now. You just mentioned Brug going to be chasing Kerr here all night long. Current point standings, Kendall Kerr with 355 points. Johnny Brug in second place with 337. That really is a two-man race for the championship. Matt Cursini sitting in third with 312. Marty Rogers in that fourth spot, 296 points, with Oliver Turan and Ileana Hamilton rounding out those top 6 drivers right there. We got to look out for Ileana Hamilton maybe overtaking Oliver Turan for that top 5. That's why he's included right there. And even Kyle with Marty Rogers at 296. I mean, we could really see things shift up for that 4th, 5th, and 6th here tonight.
Yeah, Ileana Hamilton specifically, he if he's in the race tonight, he's missed 2 races, so he gets a full points night. If he gets a good points night, that's going to add directly to his total. He doesn't have to worry about drop weeks affecting how much he can gain tonight. So he could be someone you could see kind of jumping up here and kind of messing up the order here for the top 4 and in the points here.
Now, drop weeks aside, right now, let's go through how these guys accumulate the points here. Kyle and I believe Coop putting this together for us here. So first place gets 40 points. We talked about Brug trailing Kerr by only about 18 points right there. So if he wins this race, that could be huge if Kendall Kerr has a mishap here tonight. Second gets 35 points, with third getting 34 points. You also get up to 3 bonus points: lead a lap, most laps led, and fastest lap. So that's something to look for here, especially in Brug's case. But even in Kendall Kerr, let's say towards the end, he doesn't have the finish that he wants, but he led the most laps. He led a lap. And, for example, maybe even has the triple trifecta with the fastest lap. That's 3 extra bonus points on top of his finishing. So between Kerr and Brug, those guys, of course, going to be looking to get as many points as they can, including those 3 bonus points. But there's a lot of grid here. It's not just about those 2 guys, Kyle. There's plenty of racers out here looking for as many points as they can get as well.
Yeah, we've got a nice field here, so we should have a lot of variance here when it comes to who's kind of running up front and who's able to contend for the win here tonight. We should see potentially Ryan Andrew coming into the race later. He said that he might be able to come, but looks like with the minimal amount of time we have left, that might not happen.
Yep, time winding down here in the practice session. These guys going to get ready to go into qualifying. And of course, Kendall Kerr, all eyes going to be on him. Right now, he's sitting third in the practice session with a time of a 33.93. Johnny Brug sits atop with a 33.80. Uh, Not that big of a difference to the eye here, Kyle, but enough to see that Kyle's going to have a little bit of work for him here tonight to be able to catch that fast time of Johnny Brug.
Well, the good thing here for Kendall is he's had a good, consistent season, so he's going to be sitting ahead in the points. So he's kind of sitting in a defensive position where Johnny's kind of forced to attack for the rest of this race. So even if he's behind, he needs to make sure that he's not too far behind, so he's able to retain his championship lead here and walk out tonight with the championship trophy.
Points ineligible drivers here tonight. Of course, newcomer hot on the scene, Ryan Andrew, Mike Coravu, and Nick Biddy. All three of those drivers coming in really late into the end of the season, not able to pick up any points here tonight. Andrew has been very fast. There's been talks of him maybe racing next season, maybe not. We hope he most certainly comes and races with us next season. The more competition, the better. So those are the rules of the race. Those are the points of the race. Guys to look out for, of course, Kerr, Brug, Piercini, Turan, Hamilton. But, Miami Homestead is certainly one of those tracks, Kyle. We talk about it often at other tracks as well. This is a very rhythm-based track. If these drivers, if you're out of rhythm here, this could be a very, very tough night for these drivers. But once they get into that rhythm here at Miami, it's pretty hard to cool off.
Yeah, Miami is one of these tracks that iRacing has scanned where it doesn't race particularly like what we're used to seeing in person. So, you have that multi-groove kind of racing here. I think that top lane is not something that you're going to see be prevalent for the fast times here, but definitely is a usable lane, but it's not going to be your preferred option as the leader.
Now, the preferred lane on this track right here, as we see the qualifying times coming in, nothing changes up top. Johnny Brug, 33.86, a little bit slower than his practice session, but we see that in the qualifying. Oliver Turan up there in second place currently, only 0.02 off of the pace. Matt Piercini in third. Brian Cooper, and there we go. There's the 97 of Justin Malarkey. Had himself a race last week, talked about him. Overall, we see Whitaker now jumping to the top five. These numbers are coming in live. We're going to see a lot of drivers in, a lot of drivers out. But with the Xfinity cars, I feel like this brings such a good package. And on a track like Miami, it's one of those tracks where we could see some really good, clean bumper to bumper racing here. Guys switching from the inside to the outside. You talked about the multi groove. That's going to be important here tonight. Talk to us what it's like, though, for a driver's perspective. What do these guys need to focus on to hit their marks and turn some laps?
Well, Homestead's one of those tracks where it doesn't particularly feel like a normal mile and a half. You're used to kind of that dog leg or the quad oval kind of deal where it kind of assists in kind of making that radius around the corner kind of feel not as sharp. But here it really affects how you need to enter the corner and exit the corner. So it's not your traditional mile and a half in that sense. So you got to really, really focus on getting to that center point in the corner to where you're getting that good exit and you're not over driving it past that midway point to where you're going to be pushing out hard to the outside wall, exiting turn two and exiting turn four.
Yeah, almost similar, not exact. It might be an exaggeration, but almost similar to a short track where you're really trying to just roll through the corners, especially up into that corner center. Would that make sense?
Yeah, the way it handles is it's more you have to drive the car more around the corner because there's more corner to go around and less straightaway.
All righty, beautiful job there by Kyle Gretsch, giving you guys at home a little bit of driver experience as we see Kendall Kerr out there in the 21 car points leader looking to bring home the championship here tonight. He's jumped all the way up on his first lap to that second spot, trying to track down Brug here Now, remember, Kendall's practice was only a 33.90, so that's right where Brug is right now on his second lap. Let's see, as he comes out of turn 4, if he can take this top spot here. Or I was wrong, sorry. He was coming off turn 2, now onto the back stretch down into turn 3. Getting ahead of myself there a little bit, Kyle.
Yeah, it looks similar. You got the same kind of exit trajectory. So
Yeah, I knew it was one of those corners that he was coming out of. All right, either 2 or 4, okay? It's a 50-50 chance, all right?
yeah, you're close. That's all that matters.
So that is going to, I believe, wrap up the qualifying session. It sure is. So not being able to take off Brug, but Kyle, he does share the front row with them. So, I mean, if he can't take pole, that's probably the best spot for him to be right there with Brug. He's going to be able to see where he's at. We'll see if he races him hard, tries to get the lead right off the rip with Brug, or he might try to dip down low and just try and figure out Brug, see what his racing line is, get a feel for him. And of course, here at Homestead, Miami, just like any track that we talk about, some guys are really going to be trying to save tires and save fuel. 110 laps here is going to be a long time. There's definitely room for some guys to pull out some strategies.
Yeah, we're sitting here with about a like a 34-ish lap run here on fuel. So it's another one of those tracks where if you can kind of get the fuel to stretch, and it might be hard to do so, and we've seen that a lot where kind of people think they can get it close to that extending to where you're going to be able to make it on that one less stop, and then realize they're not going to make it on fuel. But yeah, like you can try to get that 34 laps to maybe try to save 3 laps and cut out a pit stop. But how much is that going to cost you over the course of the run here, which is going to be interesting here when it comes to strategy.
Here on Championship Sunday, our grid is presented by Apex Designs. Does a lot of paints in the iRacing community. In fact, the number 24, Matt Piercini, you see the big Apex right there on his hood, does all my personal paint jobs as well, but also does IRL race cars as well. So if you're somebody out there coming across the stream or watching live now and you're looking to put a new paint on your real race car, hook up and look up Apex Designs on Facebook. Use code FADEDTV for 10% off. He's been a partner here with the stream for about a year now. He does phenomenal work. But let's get into the grid. Of course, we talked about Brug and Kerr sharing that front row. Behind them, row 2, going to be Turan and Creedler on the outside in the 99. Justin Malarkey and Matt Piracini going to be on that third row. Binish and Dustin Barton going to be 7th and 8th. Willie Whitaker and Redding going to be in the top 10 with Scott Kelly and Brian Cooper in that 11th and 12th spot. Behind those guys is going to be Al Corey and Michael McCuskey. Marty Rogers, 15th, with John Barton on the outside of row 8. John Crutchley, a.k.a. Nas, in 17th, with Jason Benson on the outside in 18th. Terry Fullwider going to be in that 19th spot alongside John Campbell on the outside in that 20th position. Kobe Sutphin, part-time driver, friend of the broadcast here, raced with him as a teammate and as a, well, not really an enemy, but, competitor, I should say. Was Sid Kashishian in 22nd. James Lawson going to be 23rd, but of course one of those drivers, Kyle, not too sure. I think Sid Kashishian actually doing race control, as you mentioned before in the past.
Yeah, race control is something that kind of gets thrown around between a couple drivers here, but unfortunately, I think he had some sort of a knee injury where he was practicing and realized he wouldn't be able to race. But yeah, come green this time.
This is the NCR 2112, and this is Championship Sunday. The two drivers on the front row right there, your championship contenders here tonight. Green flag drops, Johnny Brug down the front stretch, down into turn 1, uncontested. You see Kendall Kerr shaking off Oliver Turan. He's on the inside with Kerr on the outside, taking it up high. The advantage, Kerr, so he's going to be single file 1 through 3, and really 1 through 4. It's back behind that 5th spot with Justin Malarkey where we start getting too wide. There's the 24 of Matt Piercini now contesting on the inside. We got Binish on the inside with the 13 of Dustin Barton taking it up high.
We just had a Michael McCuskey in the middle of turns 3 and 4 there, kind of bounced off the wall a little bit. It's got a decent amount of wrinklage on the right side of the car here.
Yes, he does. You see the damage there, something that we might see here at Homestead quite a bit. Of course, this early on, that's just a little bit of a flaw there on a rough start. But Homestead, Miami, Kyle, once these tires start going and the grip gets lost, we could start seeing some cars taking it a little bit higher than they want to.
Yeah, but it's one of those tracks where if you can really get that bottom to work with your car as your tires work out, it might be beneficial there. As we see Michael McCuskey still getting loose coming off the corner there.
Yeah, hopefully his steering is okay. He did take a little bit of a hard lick there, and sometimes it doesn't take much uh, to not only damage your car, but I mean, more importantly, you damage that steering box, Kyle, and it's just really tough to drive.
Yeah, and just you get any like real concentrated shot on the one corner of the car, it can really affect your steering. Like you said, it's something you really have to focus on and try to bounce off the wall as square as you possibly can.
So a lap 4 into the race, pretty easy going right now. You see on the track map, though, still bunched up here relatively good. Johnny Brug still your race leader. Kendall Kerr likes that high side in the early going, Kyle. So right now we see this battle for first. Here comes Kendall. Now he's going to cut it down low and actually go on the inside of Johnny Brug.
Yeah, Kendall here kind of sticking here on the bottom. Brug's going to get a decent run here off the high side here, kind of just getting that momentum to go roll that top side here. But Kendall getting the preferred line here on the bottom, but it's not going to be able to wash out as much as he wants to on the exit of the corner.
Here they come through turns 1 and 2. Johnny Brug, Kendall Kerr racing side by side. Brug on that outside line coming way up there, almost kissing the wall as Kendall almost took it a little high. He's got that inside line right now, but these guys just drag racing around Homestead. It looks like Brug now finally falling down in behind Kendall Kerr.
Yeah, the thing for Johnny Brug here is that he cannot be behind Kendall Kerr. He needs to be ahead. There is no situation in which he is behind Kendall and he wins this championship. So all he can do tonight is make sure he's ahead of him and keep his fingers crossed that Kendall doesn't gain enough points or have enough of a points cushion here to bring home that championship.
That was a look from Johnny Brug's front bumper there, and you're absolutely right. Kendall Kerr right where he wants to be. Now, we talked at the beginning of the broadcast, he doesn't necessarily need to win this race. He just needs to avoid getting any penalties during this race and have a good finish. But the best way to secure up the championship, Kyle, would just be to win the whole damn thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the more ceremonious way to go out on top. Just kind of get that win and just burn it down, and no one else gets to celebrate, just you.
Oliver Turan sitting in third. He's got John Kriegler in the 99. Kriegler with a little bit of an up and down season, but certainly had a good week last week. And when he's on, he is just on point. Same with the mellow yellow of Oliver Turan. Those guys having a really good season, and right now, this race certainly reflecting that as they are sitting third and fourth.
Yeah, Oliver is one of those people that I find kind of strange. He's a big oval guy on iRacing, likes to race oval stuff. Doesn't watch anything in real life when it comes to NASCAR, so always find that kind of interesting.
Benish and Dustin Barton, 7th and 8th right now. Benish, again, Kyle, one of those guys that we talk about every once in a while because he's always inside the top 10, but, I mean, really maybe not getting the recognition he deserves. He's had quietly a pretty darn good run this year in his Summer Shandy 7.
Yeah, AJ's he's had some good runs. He had a race here that wasn't broadcasted that he almost won. Kind of ironically, I let him run one of my schemes because I thought my scheme was unlucky, and he almost went and won it, and then got unlucky with a caution there. So that proved whatever it proved. But yeah, no, AJ is a really good driver. Definitely someone who's a contender. He has races where the race kind of comes to him, where he's strong, but might have some other races that aren't as friendly to him.
The driver right now, the 95 Toyota, it's actually a 19 out there. He I think last minute switch to the Yeehee paint scheme, but that's Kobe Sutphin already up 9 spots in that 12th spot. A really good racer. He's part-time here with No Toe Racing League, and didn't lay down a qualifying lap. He does that a lot in part-time series because he doesn't want to, especially on Championship Sunday, mix anything up in the wrong kind of way. But once that green flag drops, Kyle, I mean, everybody's out there racing up 9 spots, and 12th is Kobe Sutphin.
Yeah, Kobe has only done one race with us. He did a Daytona race that I was a part of. So, yeah, don't really have an opinion on him. Haven't really seen him race at a proper racetrack. So, interesting to see what he does here tonight.
Right now, we're 2 wide back here all the way for 15th. This is Scott Kelly and Michael McCuskey, who we spoke on earlier, looking for a little bit of a rebound right here. He most certainly is praying for a caution here. You can see the 42 right on his bumper here. That 22 Valvoline Ford Mustang, Kyle. Obviously, a lot of damage on McCuskey. He is looking to get down pit road as soon as possible to use that one and only fast repair.
Yeah, the damage here, I mean, if you get damage early, I mean, you're kind of, not only are you just causing yourself pace damage in general, you're just doing it straight from the start. So that's kind of an unfortunate deal here to have that go. But, you know, praying for a yellow here, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Maybe he can look at an alternate strategy to where he can kind of come down pit road and get that thing fixed up now rather than later.
Brian Cooper struggling here in the early going. He's down 9 spots, sitting in that 21st in the 96 Iowa Hawkeye Chevrolet. But Cooper wanted to honestly just be very, very consistent on the racetrack, whether he's finding himself in a good spot or maybe a difficult spot like he is right now. I expect the 96 to definitely climb the live timing here, Kyle, just because out of pure consistency that Cooper can show.
And we got Johnny Brug here looking high on Kendall Kerr. He's going to get a really, really good run here coming onto the backstretch. Look on the inside of Kendall Kerr, and it looks like he's going to try to go for a pass here.
And we'll catch up with that right now. And it does look like Johnny Brug is going to take over that top spot. We'll switch TV1 camera here for you guys at home. And that's really been the way to pass here at Miami. It's you know, you flirt up high, you get the run up high to be able to get the momentum down the backstretch. But when it's time to make a pass, these guys are starting to have to dip down low, and it hasn't gotten to it yet, but I can see some potential slide jobs coming here a little bit later tonight.
Yeah, Kendall Kerr just very, very lightly on the front stretch there after Johnny passed him. Just barely kissed the wall. Doesn't look like there's any damage. Oh, we got a caution on track.
Yellow flag, John Barton and John Crutchley wrapped up in this one. So that's a big win for Michael McCuskey right there, as we just mentioned. Really doesn't make a difference for these leaders. These guys were fighting back and forth anyways. And just like we started the race, we're going to start this caution with the one car, chasing down Kendall Kerr for the championship in first place. Now, Kyle, we're only on lap 16 here, but can we see some of these guys up front playing some strategy, some fuel strategy coming down? We got 4 sets of tires here, which is plenty. Do we see some guys come down pit road here on lap 16?
I think you could see people come down pit road, but maybe not for tires. Definitely for fuel, because it could stretch your fuel run here, and you can get that extra stop out of the way.
You see the 68 car getting a little bit loose right there in the center, unfortunately coming down on the 48 car of John Crutchley. Nothing that he could really do about that. Crutchley, a heck of a job saving it. Unfortunately for the 68 of John Barton, not so much. He goes down into the infield and hits that safety wall there on the inside. So a hard lick for Dustin Barton, and for sure a fast repair going to be used for the 96.
Yeah, it looks like John Barton there was just kind of reacting. Michael McCuskey a little bit beforehand, entering the corner, also got up in the wall again. So John Barton trying to react and get underneath of him, but looks like kind of in the act of cutting down a little bit and potentially thinking McCuskey was going to get a run back on the outside. Kind of cut down a little too hard, got loose in the rear end, kind of started sliding down the track, and then got into the path of Nodge and caused that accident.
So it looks like some of these guys certainly taking fuel, but it did look like our leaders, Kendall Kerr and Johnny Brug, took some rubber on this pit stop.
Yeah, it's an interesting call. It's a good. That's definitely a spot to kind of lay in your bed and make a decision here. But just going through, seeing how many tires they took.
Well, Matt Piercini, first out of the box there, I'd be curious to see how many tires he took, if any at all. He might have just came down for some fuel.
It looks like definitely Kendall Kerr and Johnny Brug there took 4 tires there.
Yep.
I think maybe 2 tires would have been a good decision there. But yeah, no, looks like Matt Parasini didn't take any tires.
Well, and I think at this point too, we might see between Brug and Kerr, whatever one does, the other might mimic. Especially Kendall Kerr. He doesn't have to risk anything here tonight. If Johnny Brug comes down and gets 4 tires, Kendall Kerr may decide, well, I'm going to take 4 tires too. I don't need to beat you. I just need to make sure I'm close enough to win the points battle.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you're coming into your pit box there, and it's not like a situation in real life. You kind of have to wait until the animation starts to kind of see what's going on with the driver in front of you. So I think that was a premeditated decision there to kind of do the conservative strategy of waiting
So,
because
sorry to cut you off there, but as we look at the pit stop times, Piracini and Kreidler both with around a 7 second stop, with Redding also 6.5, Whitaker 7. So those guys up front, your top 4, certainly only taking fuel. Johnny Brug with a 15.1 second in that 5th spot. That was your 4 tires right there. Kendall Kerr, though, only a 10.5 second pit stop there. So something between Kerr and Brug, not exact. That could be Kerr maybe just taking those 2 tires there, Kyle.
no, I went through and I checked it. Both of them definitely took 4 tires there. I saw the left side and the right side lift up there. Could have been a maybe a getting in the box kind of situation where there
Or
was
maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe that's a 6 and it was a 16.4. I apologize to the guys at home. It's on my end. I don't know if that was a 10.4 or 16.4, but now I'm gonna assume that that's a 6 and not a 0. So that would explain it there, Kyle. Both Brug and Kerr taking those 4 tires. Similar pit stops, just a second longer for Kendall. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it here on lap 19, coming out of our first caution there. Again, we talked about how Michael McCuskey really needed that to be able to use his fast repair. He sits back in that 20th spot, so he comes out with a fresh car. He's going to be able to bounce back and now run the race that he wants. We'll be able to see if he can find pace on that or not. The changes up front, as you see on the pit stop time there, Matt Piercini gaining 5 spots. He's going to be in that first spot with John Kreidler in the 99. Pace car off. We're going to get back to green flag racing. Redding, Whitaker right behind those guys. It's going to be the 71 pushing the 24, Matt Piercini on the inside. You see Matt there kind of getting a little squirrely, ducked down low, regained his composure, but a huge start for the 24.
Yeah, no, we had 5 cars stay out in front of the leaders there. We see Kendall Kerr coming around the outside on Willie Whitaker. He's going to be on that outside lane, get behind Kreidler. We got some separation here between the 2 championship leaders here. So, yeah, Kendall's just trying to make the best he can with his fresh tires currently, as we see some contact there between the 37 and 99. Nothing comes of that. But yeah, no, Kendall's kind of doing a good job here, just trying to get back through the traffic to get up to the back bumper of Johnny Brug.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job there. Right now, he's hooked up on the back of Oliver Turan. There's the Kendall Kerr and Brug, both going way up high. They have really utilized that high side of the track, building that momentum for the corner exit. It's worked for them, and here comes Brug now working on Matt Piercini. And on the inside, a nice pass for Brug. But, of course, as we mentioned, Brug and both Kerr on fresh tires, while Matt Piercini and Oliver Turan were not.
Yeah, this really shows kind of the fall off we're seeing here at Homestead. But yeah, Matt Parasini kind of potentially laying down in the bed of a strategy here to where he's going to have an extra set of tires here later in the race. But this race kind of turns into a caution fest.
Michael McCuskey already on the move. He's found himself 3 spots with that fresh car, making his way on the inside of Marty Rogers. So he's up to the 17th. Again, we'll keep an eye on him. He qualified pretty good right there in that 15th spot, and unfortunately was hurt or damaged, if you will, early on into the race. One of the cars I'm seeing right now on the track map back in 22nd is John Barton. Kyle either choosing not to use his fast repair or he got into the wall again, but I'm going to assume he had his fast repair unchecked, wasn't able to use it, and my God, is that not good for the 68 of John Barton, as you see way, way off pace.
Yeah, potentially thinking that the race can get a little hairy here later. You only have one fast repair. It does look like he was down pit road trying to get his damage fixed, coming to the green there. So that would explain why he's so far off the pack here. Not a pace issue, just a conservative with your fast repair like strategy there.
Well, we'll see when the leaders get up to the 22 car just how he handles that, but definitely something to keep an eye on. That's a risky move there. I think we're going to be on a long green flag run here. That caution was a little bit of a fluke there. It was one car getting loose, getting into the other one, and really, if he hadn't made contact with that second car and he just went out in the infield, we may not even have seen a caution.
Yeah, it's just all a matter of what you think's going to happen. There's no right or wrongs. We'll only know that at the end of the race with the benefit of hindsight. But yeah, you see some of these drivers that did not pit here, kind of falling through the field here, like Willie Whitaker and Parasini a little bit, kind of falling back into the clutches of some of the people with 4 tires.
Taking a look at the field right now, Brug, Kerr, Turan, Binish, no surprise up there in the top 5, including Justin Malarkey. Redding, he's been able to find himself 4 spots here in the early going, finds himself in that 6th spot. Matt Piercini in 7th. We'll see how he does on the long run here, not picking up those tires. The 99 of John Creedler is behind him, with Terry Fulbinder finding a whole 10 spots on that pit stop. He now is inside the top 10 for the first time sitting in 9th.
Yeah, Johnny Brug doing a good job to kind of hold on to a small lead here, but Kendall doing exactly what he needs to do here. Not really giving Johnny the opportunity to open up and get a huge points lead here, but Kendall getting that 1 lap lead, that's going to be really beneficial for his race. Johnny, hopefully, for his sake, he gets some of these laps led so he can get that bonus and kind of nullify, or not nullify, but increase whatever points advantage he's trying to gain on Kendall here to have a shot at the championship.
Now, we talked about those bonus points. As it sits right now on lap 28, it looks like the fastest lap does belong to Johnny Brug with a 33.85. Or, excuse me, no, Kendall Kerr just, I think, beat it. Yeah, he did. 33.74 is Kendall Kerr's fastest lap, and I think, so far, is the fastest lap throughout the entire field. Now, we have plenty of racing to go, but you usually pick up those faster laps early on in the early going. So we'll keep an eye on that for you guys at home, as this is somewhat of a tight points battle. Only 18 points separating these guys, a total of 3 bonus points to be had for these drivers. As we take a look at from the grandstands here, I think there might be more fans in the sim than there may be these days IRL, but that's a story for a different day there. Kendall Kerr still running second. Looks like you got a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 there, Kyle.
Yeah, that's the thing that you have to worry about too, is when you're behind somebody and you're kind of getting focused on maintaining their pace, but they're doing a better job on their tires than you are, and then you end up burning your stuff off and start falling through the pack here. Kendall getting a little loose there. Hopefully that's just a one-time deal here, and he's not abusing his right rear or his even his right front. You can get a lot of times where you're kind of tight off, and then that turns into snappy off.
Well, and you hope Kerr, and you would assume, understanding the assignment here tonight, understanding the moment he can let Brug win this race. If he finishes, probably top 5 without question, he brings home this championship. So if there ever comes a time with Kendall Kerr, maybe he doesn't feel comfortable in that particular stage of the race, he can let Johnny go all he wants. He just needs to avoid anything dangerous, hitting the wall, hitting a driver, spinning out, things like that.
Yeah, we just saw the 42 here of Benson just coming off of turn 2 and kind of getting unloaded there and getting really loose and almost hooking it into the outside wall on the backstretch there. That's something that you're going to have to watch out here on these exits of the corner, just how sharp they are comparatively to a normal mile and a half here, kind of having that unloading and then snappiness on exit.
That's the 42 next to the 19 of Colby Sutphin. Those guys kind of been next to each other all race. Once Colby started making his way up through the field right there, that's really the only side-by-side that's happening right now. And Colby stays up high. Benson going down low. We talked about that seems to be the most comfortable place for these drivers to pass is down low, but they do get a really good run off that high line, so it makes it tough. You really have to have yourself a run to be able to make a pass here.
Yeah, that's where that high line comes in, but if that bottom lane's really rolling, you kind of have a hard time getting that high lane to work and then have a benefit with being able to roll off.
Let's go ahead and jump inside the cockpit of Johnny Brug. We're going to strip it down a little bit and go for a lap or two with our race leader, Johnny Brug.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see this high lane working. Typically, you see in most races I've seen on iRacing where the bottom lane is really dominant. Don't know if that's an updated thing since the last time I've raced here, but kind of interesting to see here. Kind of the varying grooves as you see goes to the bottom in 3 and 4 here.
Now, one thing that we noticed there, Kyle, turns 1 and 2, Johnny's going high, but through 3 and 4, he's going down low. So for the viewers at home, the way that this track is laid out, turns 1 and 2 don't, I don't want to say they don't drive the same, but we're certainly seeing different grooves through turns 1 and 2 than we are seeing in 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's always been really interesting. It could be a thing where you're, as we see a car stopped on the infield on the backstretch. Looks like the 68 of John Barton. Not a problem here for the race, just something I just noticed. No, I mean, this track is symmetrical. It's, if you took a drawing of this paper and you folded it in half, both sides would be the same. But maybe it could be a situation kind of like where what Richmond is, where Richmond is the same like that, but you have 2 different corners where you might have a slight difference with these corners where you're kind of entering a little bit differently, because it is one of those things where that bottom line is always kind of been a preferred line in 3 and 4, at least on iRacing. But in 1 and 2 here, kind of interesting to see the high line there come into play rather than it being a perfect copy-paste between the 2 corners.
We see Barton taking the little bit of the road course here back to pit road, playing it safe, making sure that he doesn't get back onto the track. He now has made it safe down pit road, but it looks like really not using that fast repair will end the race for 68 of John Barton. Brug still up top. Kendall Kerr chasing him down. You got Oliver Tran and Justin Malarkey as well. We're going to take a break up here into the booth. We'll be back in a few minutes.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
As we come back from that short commercial break from McConey Setup Shop, use code FADEDTV for 15% off. Kyle, we saw Matt Curacini dive down into pit road. I'm assuming here on lap 42, a driver who did not take tires during that first caution, certainly coming down now to switch those out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're kind of trying to stop the bleeding here. He would have really benefited there if the run went out to where it did and the caution came out, because then he would be a set tires to the good. But no, it'd be interesting to see here when the leaders bite, because with that caution, it's kind of changed the strategy here to where you can easily make it only on two of those stops. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see kind of when you see Brug come in, and if you just see Kendall kind of follow, or if you see Kendall take the initiative to try to get an undercut, or like I said, just follow Brug.
Now, we said we'd keep our eye on the 22 of McCuskey since having that fast repair. All he's done is go from 20th to 8th. So the 22 of Alvadine, certainly, and that's the two differences there. A driver who maybe thought it was too early to use his fast repair compared to a driver who said, if I'm going to be competitive, I need to take it now, no matter the outcome. And right now, one of them is in bad shape, Michael McCuskey, inside the top 10.
Yeah, interesting to see here with McCuskey, his lap time. He had his fastest lap about 5 laps into the run, ran a 34.5, and these last couple laps he's been running in the 35.5, 36 flat range, so fall off is really, really extreme here. So we're going to see kind of like what happens here with the leaders when they decide to pit.
The 48 of John Crutchley was also involved in that caution with John Barton. He has also been able to find some success after the restart of this race, and now we're kind of in this long green flag stretch here. He's sitting up 4 spots. He started 17th. He got involved in that wreck. He's been able to take care of that 48 since then. He's now sitting in a solid 13th, right in front of John Campbell.
Yeah, good little recovery there for John Crutchley, just kind of making sure to get your eggs in a row there and kind of keep your head in the game after having kind of a frustrating incident there that you kind of get involved in someone else's mess.
Making her way back up front right now, Johnny Brug does have a 4-second lead over championship hopeful Kendall Kerr, who is comfortably sitting in second. We see A.J. Binish behind him. Both these guys going upside. It looks like Binish maybe overdriving into the corner there just a little bit, and certainly losing some momentum. But here that comes back, Kyle, right off the corner exit. These guys just getting a huge surge on these exits.
Yeah, we just saw 3 drivers come down pit road that time by, so I would expect potentially to see some of these leaders but think about pitting to kind of cover off the undercut that those guys that as we see, is that Dustin Barton that just spun coming onto pit road? It is. Dustin Barton has spun entering pit road and has hit the inside wall, so unfortunate deal there for Dustin Barton.
Yeah, and he is going to jump to the pit, so that's a little bit of a tow for him. That's some time that's going to be missed in during that pit stop, so that's unfortunate for him. And you're right, we saw McCuskey come back down. It looks like Kobe Sutphin has come down under green flag. So a handful of drivers coming down under green, and really even for drivers like Brug and Kerr, I mean, that first caution was on lap 4, so it's not like those guys are going to be able to go out there for a super long time compared to these other drivers. I suspect within the next 10 laps we'll start seeing these lead pit cars come down green, as we see Brian Cooper now making his green flag pit stop right in front of the leader.
Yeah, and then also when they pit, those guys are potentially going to kind of jump them, but they're also going to have older tires, so we're going to see kind of a coming and going effect with tires after the pit stop here.
A good run here by Brug. We thought and mentioned while we were at Watkins Glen that once we got back to the ovals, that Johnny Brug could really catch up with Kendall Kerr for this points race. Now, he has done a good job, but unfortunately for him, Kyle, Kendall Kerr ran he knew what he needed to do, and he had a really good week.
Just got a really loose moment off of turn 2 there.
He had a really good week last week, and he's taking care of business here tonight, to where it really doesn't matter what Brug does. Kendall Kerr taking care of business these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the road course, Kendall Kerr did a really, really good job of finishing where he did, and just kind of building that gap. But Johnny's just doing what he needs to do right now. He's doing everything right, so he's getting those points. He's out front, but he has to hope that Kendall doesn't do what he needs to do, and that Kendall, gets unfortunate, maybe has a bad pit entry, maybe gets into an accident here with the driver in third place, or spins, or maybe they can get on alternate strategies here and Brug gets on the better one. It's just that unfortunate thing where you kind of have to hope someone else does something else when they've been consistent the whole year and not been making those mistakes.
Can only control what you do out there on the track, and right now both drivers doing so. We see some other drivers taking care of business. Al Corey inside the top 10. Terry Fullwinder as well, up 13 spots. Jason Benson in the 42 car, up 10 spots. And also John Campbell in the Krispy Kremes. All these guys new to the top 10. Green flag pit stops, guys shuffling in, guys deciding to stay out. But some good runs right now by a handful of those drivers.
Yeah, we just saw AJ Binish come down pit road, so that's part of the lead pack. So I'd expect to potentially in the next couple laps here see Kendall Kerr or Johnny Brug come down pit road.
You see on the track map right now with those green flag pit stops starting to take place, just how grouped up we're getting together, or lack thereof, I should say. Everybody's spread out across the track right now. But you see the lead that Brug has carried for himself right now in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Kind of waiting on those two drivers to see when they're going to pit. There's Binish, and here comes Johnny Brug.
Oh, Brug just had a really hot finish. Oh, he hit the inside wall.
And
that's on pit road as well.
That is the mistake you did not want to see. Johnny Brug coming in too hot on pit road, locking up the front brakes, hitting the wall. Now, if I was him, I'd almost 55 laps in, I'd almost take my fast repair. It's going to add about a second and a half, if that, to the pit stop. But a costly mistake, and one that you don't see very often out of his camp. Johnny Brug struggling coming down pit road.
I'd be concerned if he maybe sped on the pit road as well, which would be an absolute just horrible thing to do. Kind of an unforced error there with a 4.5 second lead. As you see, Kendall Kerr is going to get out ahead of Johnny Brug on the pit stop there. Really unfortunate there as we see Johnny Brug coming up pit road. He did take his fast repair, but now he's behind Kendall Kerr, and Kendall Kerr was under pressure a little bit from the drivers behind of Malarkey and AJ Binish. So with AJ pitting a lap before, this could see Kendall maybe not even drop, but maintain second place. But we have a change for the lead and have someone like AJ Binish kind of become your new leader.
Yeah, and don't forget Justin Malarkey was up there racing. Matt Piercini still in the mix, and I guess that could have been one of those things, Kyle, where Brug may have planned to stay out. Maybe Kendall came on the radio saying that he was going to pit. Johnny Brug wanted to pit when Kerr pit, and made a last-second dive down pit road and ended up costing him.
Yeah, I think that potentially could have been what happened. Did look like a little bit of a late dive there by Johnny Brug, but Kendall Kerr just passed AJ Finish to resume the net lead of the race. Or I should apologize. Probably the net leader on that strategy.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened here, because we only caught it at the tail end. We're going to rewind it here using our iRacing Rewind. Not the cleanest feature for broadcasters, but it gets the job done. We'll kind of see it in reverse, and then we'll watch it live time. But I actually want to go back to see when Brug decided to commit down pit road. Let's go ahead and take a look as he comes out of turn 4. Oh man, he was flying down there.
Yeah, I've not seen the black flag came up, so potentially maybe that spin, that sliding there and hitting that inside wall was the lesser of two evils with the fast repair he has. So yeah, maybe a good call there, realizing he's overcooking the entry there and just kind of sacrificing the car rather than getting a penalty there that would have definitely put him multiple laps down.
Matt Piercini taking over the race lead, but as you see on the top of your view, just for a second, the 21 of Kendall Kerr, who's favored that high side pretty much the whole race, coming into view now, chasing down the 24 of Matt Piercini, trying to regain control of this lead. And as Kyle mentioned, now with Brug struggling, he's still back in 6th, but he's 8 seconds off this pace right now. No relaxing for Kendall Kerr as he's on the inside of Matt Piercini for the race lead.
Yeah, that last time by the 24 there, Matt Piercini on an alternate strategy. So he's on much older tires compared to Kendall Kerr, but a lap difference between the two of them. So yeah, Kendall's gonna easily gap the 24 here, and you should see the 7 of AJ Binish pass for second here as well.
Over the halfway point now. We've only had one caution. We've seen our green flag pit stops as well. So well into the race right now. Kendall Kerr, if you guys are coming in late, looking to pick up the season championship, all he's got to do is make sure he finishes in front of, well, he doesn't have to finish in front of Johnny Brug, but he just makes sure he's got a clean race, no penalties, no DNFs, stay on the lead lap. And right now he's doing a lot more than that, as he is on his second lead of the race. Brug back in 6th, as we mentioned. So right now Brug may be sweating it a little bit on lap 62. Kerr just in cruise control right now. We got AJ Binish up in 2nd, Matt Piercini 3rd, the 99 of Creedler in 4th, and the 97 of Justin Malarkey in that top 5.
Yeah, for Johnny here, Malarkey's out front, and they're very, very similar on their lap times. And that last time by, Malarkey was just a smidge faster than Johnny Brug. Brug and Malarkey here should be able to get by Creedler and Piercini, but with the strategy being different for the two of them, that might, not be just as easy as them getting by them. They could always undercut again and kind of find themselves ahead. But yeah, it's just a tricky spot here for Johnny. A little bit of, I will say that is just an unforced error there, just kind of with a 4.5 second lead at that time of the before the pit stop, to just kind of throw caution to the wind there, kind of entering and costing yourself multiple seconds in a fast repair. Yeah, AJ sitting now in 2nd place, 1.4 seconds behind Kendall. one lap difference in the pit strategy. Not too much of a difference with tire wear. I mean, a lap isn't going to destroy somebody when you get into a battle, but yeah, no, for him to pull out to a 1.4 second lead, I think he's kind of solidifying himself here. He's the man to beat, and it's unfortunate for Johnny Brug because he really needed maybe Kendall to be challenged by somebody and potentially see him wear out his tires a little much and then kind of fall back into the clutches of Johnny.
Now, we can't talk about a whole lot right now. We like to wait for these guys to make their announcements. But season 22 schedule, I've been able to take a sneak peek at. These guys are not going to waste any time from the 20 this season and the 22nd season here at No Toe Racing League. That'll pick up officially next month. The 15th of May, and looking at the schedule here, Kyle, I don't know if you've been able to take a sneak peek at it or not, but it is a dang good schedule.
I don't think I've seen the season 22 schedule. I know we had like a preliminary season 22 schedule. I don't know if that's the same, but that was released last year, so I'm just gonna say I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I will give Sarge the honors of that. Now, my question to you is, you've been not only doing the broadcast thing here on Sundays, but I know you've been helping the ARCA League, I think, here and there as well. Getting your big full taste here now, doing it for consecutive weeks. What do you think about broadcasting? Is this something that you definitely want to hold on to in the future? Or once this season's done, you're racing back towards getting into the league races?
I'm not particularly sure. I don't know what I can commit to. So broadcasting is fun and all, but you do kind of want to be out there, especially when you see them at a track that you're might be strong at. Kind of watch somebody win that race and think, maybe I could have gave them a run for their money or something. But no, I think maybe you'll see me stick with some of the series I run, typically like the 87 series, and I might, try the ARCA series, and maybe I might be in the Sunday series. I'm not particularly sure.
Well, a lot of things still happening around here at No Toad Racing League. And again, only a few weeks off before they kick off season 22. I'm looking forward to being a part of that in May. So I'm sure, as these guys always have, returning competitors, we might see some new blood coming in, especially with you guys branching out. I mean, you got the Sundays. We've talked about this. The ARCA League. You have a truck league, I believe. Or if not, you got the 87s for sure. And then I think next season, and this is, I don't know for sure, nobody's told me anything, but I think you guys have been testing some next gen. Is that what you guys are leaning on next season for the Sunday nights?
So we wanted to try out the next gens first, and that was really important before we reevaluated, or at least my understanding of it. But I think we're sticking with the XFINITY cars for the Sunday series next year. We feel like there's some areas where the next gens maybe aren't perfected, to where there's some some hard spots,
like Martinsville, for example.
Yeah, I haven't been able to try Martinsville, but I know from from specifically some of the road courses at low speeds, the cars become kind of a little ridiculous. But yeah, no. I think we're going to maintain kind of that next gen testing league that we have that's on the Friday nights. I've been trying to hook up a kind of a short IndyCar series where we do like 2 little short races on a Saturday night kind of deal. So that's something else that we can look forward to in a couple weeks. But yeah, no, we always have stuff on tap. We got the 87 series, we got the ARCA series, we have our Sunday series, we have our King of the Hill series, which is just the mishmash of different stuff. We're gonna have that IndyCar thing that I'm gonna try to get going here, and yeah, like just good variety here for people who like oval stuff.
Now, as a guy who has watched his fair share of F1, I kind of ignored the IndyCar series up until this season. I'm talking IRL here, and that is definitely something that I'd like to try out in the sim. it's definitely something I've been watching here and there. It looks like an overall just a really fun car to drive. It's a lot of oval track racing for the guys at home. It's not like your F1 where it's road course after road course. I mean, these guys are racing ovals all over the place. Texas is a big track for those guys. Of course, Indianapolis would be a big track for those Indy cars. So that's good news to me. I really would like to see those Indy cars take place here in No Toll Racing League. Now, a question for you, I haven't asked anybody else. Is there ever a thought, because these guys have been around forever, right? I mean, we talk about it all the time as we see Johnny Brug now in fourth, trying to catch the 97 of Malarkey. He's doing that high side. We'll see what kind of run he can get here on the backstretch. Might dive down low here. If not, might have to wait one more lap. But has there ever been talks? iRacing has the inventory to go back to the Coda cars. They got the 2006 package with the bigger horsepower. I mean, has there ever been talk among the lead of going back in time and maybe doing some of the old school generations of NASCAR?
Not that I've been a part of. I know there's other leagues that other people in the league have kind of branched out to. Specifically, there's been like a Car of Tomorrow league that people have competed in and some other stuff. But I think a lot of it's just more like the goal from Gary, from what I understand, is wanting something that kind of mirrors what you see on Sunday. So we kind of have these tracks where we might race. Where the majority of our schedule kind of lines up, but then we might avoid some of the races where, it might not make sense for the normal iRacer that's in the league, because I don't think a lot of people own Coda. So that's why we saw us go to Watkins Glen a couple weeks ago. Martinsville potentially would have been a bit of what we saw in the Saturday Xfinity series, kind of being chaotic. So coming here to Homestead instead, just kind of stuff like that. Kind of getting that mirroring and using cars that people are going to use in official series or have used in official series, and come into this league and kind of have a fun time with something modern and updated.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Certainly, these guys know what they're doing here at No Toad Racing League, so I will trust the process. Another one trusting the process right now, Kendall Kerr. He's been out in the lead now. I would assume at this point, Kyle, if not matching Johnny Brug lead count, surpassing it at this point on lap 78. So he's certainly out there collecting all the bonus points, as I do believe he still holds the best lap with a 33.74. So that would be 2 bonus points for him. And right now, coming up on some lap traffic, but of course that's because we got spread out because of the green flag pit stops. But right now, Kerr, Binish, Malarkey up to 3rd. We see Brug up to 4th still, not being able to track down the 97 of Justin Malarkey. As we go back there, when we first looked at these guys, I mean, Brug was right on the bumper of Malarkey, and since now he's over a second and a half almost behind Malarkey.
Yeah, I saw Johnny Brug coming off of turn 2 a couple laps ago, and he was pretty sideways, so I'd be worried about his right rear, potentially just kind of like overwearing the tires there. I think Kendall Kerr is benefiting from being in the lead and being able to set his own pace instead of trying to chase down a Johnny Brug, whereas Johnny Brug is kind of having to push currently to get back up to Kendall. So kind of everything kind of going in the favor of Kendall here. After the mistake of Johnny, as we see AJ Binish come down pit road.
Well, that's certainly what you need to make up the championship season. You need a lot of things to go right. You need consistency. Certainly, both things that Kendall has had this season. Taking a look through some of the other guys through the field, got Kobe Sutphin all the way up into 6th, Terry Fullwider all the way up to that 5th spot right now. Both those drivers up 14 and 15 spots respectively. Scott Kelly in the 34 car, he's up to 7th, with Al Corey hanging out inside the top 10, sitting in 8th. Jason Benson 9th, with Marty Rogers in the top 10.
Yeah, something to note here is we've had people pit already. So, like, for example, a Parasini, he might be in 14th here, a lap down, but he's on fresher tires. He's running a second and a half faster than the leaders here. So just because the where the lineup is currently, someone's kind of sitting where they're sitting, we could see some people kind of jump back up there and take some of these positions away. As we see Kendall staying out here, not pitting. Same with Johnny Brug and Malarkey. Whereas, Oliver Turin, or not Oliver Turin, sorry, AJ Binish came down pit road, and he's going to be knocking out some really, really quick lap times here, and we could see him potentially kind of undercut the leaders here, but then he's going to really have to defend later with more worn tires compared to those guys.
Nine cars on the lead lap currently. That'll change when the leaders come down pit road. But looking at the rest of the field, you see Crutchley down 2 laps, the 96 of Cooper as well. Lawson down 3 laps. So a tough go here at Miami for some of those guys. But other than that, I mean, been a pretty solid race. I mean, we've been green flag here now for such a long time. Of course, green flag pit stops always help with that. We start getting spread out a little bit. We're not bunched up. Really makes for caution-free racing. Good for Kendall Kerr, maybe Brug, who I think, did he just have another mishap in pit road?
I don't believe so. I just saw him on pit road. I didn't see if he no, he had a clean pit entry, learned from his mistake there. But he's going on the undercut, so he's trying to have the fresher tires and potentially gain back on Kendall here. And Kendall stays out another lap. So yeah, Kendall just kind of being comfortable in this situation here with his tires and thinking stretching out a couple laps here would be beneficial for his strategy.
I wish I would have seen who that was. We were looking at a driver on the track, and the TV camera had picked up somebody. It looked like they had spun out maybe right before pit road. All I saw was a black car, so I was hoping maybe that it wasn't Brug, because I also seen he dropped as that was happening. But all good for the one car there. And I think that was Marty Rogers in the 32 came into pit road a little hot. That all seems to be good, though, on his end. Justin Malarkey now going to be taking over the race lead as Kendall Kerr does make his way down pit road along with Terry Fullwider.
Yeah, Justin Malarkey said he's going to pit this time. Yeah, currently sitting, Johnny Brug is going to be... No, Kendall's still on pit road, so we don't know the distance here between Johnny Brug, how much he's gained on Kendall here. But Johnny Brug coming down the front stretch. Kendall Kerr just exiting pit road. He's on that access road in the middle of 1 and 2. Going back to Johnny Brug. Johnny Brug has just entered turn 1, and now he is hitting the middle of turn 1. Kendall Kerr just coming off pit road, and it looks like Kendall is still going to have a decent lead on Johnny Brug, and Johnny Brug has put a couple laps on his tires, so he's going to be really on the back foot here, kind of making an aggressive call there for an undercut, but not having it pay out for him.
Yeah, and as this race ticks down, 24 laps to go, it all seems inevitable for the 21 of Kendall Kerr. Brug struggling to find pit lane a while back into the race. Really hasn't been able to recover there. Kyle, you nailed it right on the head. Because of that, he found himself in a situation where he really had to overdrive his car. He didn't have a choice. You cannot just sit back and let the laps count down. And unfortunately, because of that, he ran out of tires, got a little bit sideways there. Tough car to handle. And unfortunately, it looks like Brug, his championship run is going to come to an end here.
Well, like you said, we still have some laps left here, so, this race isn't over yet. As we see, AJ Binish has now a 6-second lead over Kendall Kerr after the pit cycle's gone through, but AJ's on older tires compared to Kendall. Last lap, AJ ran a 34.2, and Kendall ran a 33.8, so he was a half a second a lap faster here with 12 laps remaining. So potentially AJ here, um, as the tires start to equalize a little bit, could be sitting pretty here to get a good run. Definitely is going to get a decent finish here. First or second, I don't know if he's going to fall into the clutches here of Johnny Brug, but he might have just pulled one over on Kendall here, and he could potentially come out with a win here if Kendall has some trouble with the lap traffic and kind of has his tires equalize.
Yeah, it's about 5 seconds right now between Kerr and AJ Binish. How awesome would that be for the driver of the number 7? We talked about him earlier in the broadcast, quietly having himself a decent season. What a way to cap it off would be, a podium for sure. It's looking like, Kyle, but to be able to walk out of Homestead, Miami with a win um, it would cap off his season. We talked about quietly having a good season. Right now, all eyes are on Kerr and Brug, and here comes AJ Binish in the lead with 20 to go.
Yeah, his best finish this year has been at Las Vegas track where he finished second. Has a lot of top fives here, but not really been able to have that breakthrough. Last year, in the when the ARCA series was our Sunday series, myself, I had been same position AJ was in the same number, kind of just finishing really good behind the championship contenders, but finally got the breakthrough in the final race of the year to kind of get your first victory in the Sunday series, which is always just such a hard series to win in. You have the people like Johnny Brug and Kendall Kerr and Skylar Carnes and Ryan Andrew who show up and make this look easy. But you got to remember in Parasini as well. And then you don't, and then you got all these other drivers here who, don't have these wins and, aren't able to compete on a weekly basis with Johnny Brug. But when you do have that weekend come together where you're able to kind of pull one over on everybody and come out with a victory, it's very special because this series is not easy. It has its hard competition here and really talented drivers that you got to contend with.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't explain the Sunday nights any better than that. This is some of the top racing really that I've seen throughout the leagues, and introducing new people this season, I think it's just been a blast. I know there were just some part-time guys here and there, but it's always good to see the league expanding, bringing in new talent, some really good new talent as well. And it's ran really well. It has good admins. It has a good owner. It has overall a good positive attitude in the Discord. When races are done, you see guys apologizing and you see the apologies being accepted. It's not some big drama-filled Discord like you see in other leagues where a racing incident happens and you're looking for blood. I mean, you guys here at No Toad Racing League, it's a really good racing league. They know things happen out there on the track, and nobody really holds it over each other's heads. So, I mean, it's just overall one of the greatest leagues on iRacing, in my opinion, and I've seen a lot. Okay, I was broadcasting 6 nights a week last year, all different leagues, all different series, and I can tell you, I only broadcast once a week now, and it's here Sundays with No Toad.
Yeah, a lot of that just comes down to just wanting to be respectful and being able to, have good relations with the people that you're racing with. So you're not going to want to get up and rub into somebody because you don't want to piss them off. You see that a lot in other leagues where you kind of have just that go for broke attitude where you're not friends with people. You don't know X person. You don't know, what Y person does during the week, and you just kind of take it for granted and you throw it into the corner, and if you hit them, you hit them, and then the admins might not be strict enough to where that kind of gets brushed under the table, and then that kind of green lights everything to kind of be wild and crazy, where we have our rules and regulations here to kind of keep it all maintained here. But AJ Binish in the lead currently, his 5-second lead has dwindled down to about a 1.1 second gap here. He's got the 2 lappers that just passed him on fresher tires, and that's really cost him some time. He's been trying to get a good run off the corner, and he's been kind of sliding off a little too much with coming at 12 to go here. I mean, he's just kind of a sitting duck I don't know if he's going to be able to kind of maintain that gap between him and Kendall. I think Kendall's going to come up here pretty soon and kind of be the Denny Hamlin to the William Byron at Richmond, but at Homestead. Yeah, AJ's starting to run the high line, or not AJ, Kendall's starting to run the high side there to kind of get that good run off the corner to get the momentum so he can kind of make this pass easier down one of the straightaways. Yeah, you can just see the difference in tires here as Kendall's starting to look on the inside. AJ's starting to slide off a little bit. As we see, there's a smoke cloud up ahead. There's a car on the bottom. It is the 71 of Michael Redding.
Yeah, that was a little dangerous there. I switched to the TV static, and all I saw was the cloud of smoke, and I said, oh no, here we go. But Redding doing the right thing, getting down to the bottom of the track right there. You see Binish now surrendering the lead to Kendall Kerr, drops in single file behind the 21 car, and with just 12 laps to go, the 21 car of Kendall Kerr looking to secure a championship here on the Sunday night Xfinity League. And what a season it has been to this point. A very competitive season. It hasn't just been one or two guys. We've had a lot of interviews come through the Discord post-race, a lot of different voices in those interviews. It's been a really fantastic season. Watch it, we got a caution. Looks like Willie Whitaker involved here. In the 37, I believe, and that was scary. That happened that didn't happen too far from the leaders there. You're going to see the 37 car come down pit road. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened with Willie Whitaker. All by himself, it looks like.
Yeah, I was just about to comment. Oh, he got some contact there with James Lawson after the incident there. He just kind of lost it by himself. Kind of a strange looking incident. But no, I was gonna say, just going back to Michael Redding's incident. Michael Redding just got loose coming off of turn 4, but man, he got really lucky there that he didn't kind of cross that plane of being too sideways, dead sideways through that whole corner, but didn't kind of get that part where his rear end kind of overtook the nose, where it would have brought out a caution there. Really good car control there to keep the caution from coming out.
Yeah, that was a weird one for the 37. I mean, that was like as soon as he was entering the corner there, his tail started to slide out. Very weird looking, but nonetheless, that's going to change some things here, Kyle. The leaders, Kerr, Binish, Brug, Malarkey, Turan, Sutphin all the way up into 6 now. That means these guys going to be able to come down pit road, get some fresh tires, and with just 9 laps to go, when we go green, even fewer than that, we are all going to be equaled up as far as tire wear goes to end this race.
Yeah, we're going to get a really... This might be the thing that Johnny Brug needs here to kind of get that rebound and kind of get back up there. But yeah, just unfortunate there for Kendall, kind of putting him in a difficult spot now where he has to go out and race pretty hard for the win here when, you know, he pretty much had it locked up there before that caution came out.
We'll see how it shapes up here, but yes, absolutely a huge win for Brug, as it looked like Kendall Kerr was really, I mean, he ran away from this race so long ago. Looked like he was going to be able to complete that. But you know what, Kyle? I know those guys are racing for the championship, but I have my eyes on the 7 of AJ Binish in that second spot. Kind of a tough spot to be in on these restarts in iRacing. You're constantly trying to see when the leader's going to go. I feel like you give up a little bit of time there on these restarts. I feel like first and third are always the best seats in the house on these restarts, but we'll see how Binish reacts on this restart and see if he can give Kendall Kerr some contention on fresh tires.
Yeah, I mean, this really, really helped AJ. I mean, AJ is gonna, like you're kind of alluding to, is just, with the old tires there, now he's kind of on equal playing field here, just as everyone else is. But AJ's got the track position that he didn't have previously. So yeah, this will get really, really interesting here, and maybe we could see AJ kind of come out and uh, hopefully we see some good racing here and probably a good finish. It'd be cool if we got like a photo finish here for the final race, just like we did last year.
Yeah, we've certainly seen Brug in situations last year with Skylar Carnes. He's not afraid when it's all on the line. He'll get up, he'll hit bumpers, he'll go side by side with anybody, and I think that's what he's going to have to do here with Kendall Kerr. We'll see how aggressive Brug is willing to take it. We just talked about, Kyle, how gentlemanly this league is, but of course, when it's for the championship, there's time to be a gentleman tomorrow. Tonight is all about taking home the checkered flag. So we get these guys bunched back up here on the track. 7 laps to go, currently under caution right now. Only, as you see, our second of the night. We have been treated to a very clean race here at Miami Homestead, or Homestead Miami, excuse me. But now comes the excitement. This is the action that we're looking for here on Championship Sunday. No Toad Racing League capping off their 21st season here with the Xfinity cars, and it comes down to this. The 21 of Kendall Kerr going to be taking the green flag. The guy sitting in second is also the guy sitting behind him in third. The 1 of Johnny Brug, the 21, with a good jump off the line. He's got the choice of whatever line he chooses down into turn 1. It looks like he's going to defend that inside. Johnny Brug there a little bit higher than him. You see Binish way up high. He's going to be looking for a run. Just a malarkey behind him.
Yeah, we had a bit of a restart stack up there. Looks like the 24 missed a gear there. And, we're going to see Johnny Brug dive it up on the inside. He's going to get the inside of Kendall Kerr here entering the corner. But we had an accident in the back where Marty Rogers kind of spun and hit the inside wall. But that doesn't matter. There's no caution. We're coming to the white flag here.
Well, I have 5 laps to go.
Oh, sorry. 5 laps to go. My bad. That's on me. Oh, Johnny in the wall. Johnny in the wall.
Johnny in the wall right there. That's the 19 of Kobe. He's getting a little bit loose. Hangs on to it, though. Oliver Turan, the 99 of John Creedler now getting a run on the inside line. And that was what you don't need if you're Johnny Brug. Is now Kendall Kerr is out there by himself. Over a half a second lead over Johnny Brug, who hit the wall just moments ago. It couldn't have gotten any more lined up for Brug to make a run at the championship. And unfortunately, I mean, we still got 4 laps to go. And you know what, Kyle? These guys are racing hard behind them. Look at all these guys charging up to the front.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people kind of push it with that high line. We had a couple people that was pushing it in 1 and 2 on the high side, and they kind of grazed the wall a little bit. AJ Binish was one of those guys, as well as Johnny Brug. AJ dropping back to 9th position here. Yeah.
Enough said about that. A disappointing end to Binish night as he drops from 2nd to 9th. And I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again. Starting 2nd on these restarts are just terrible. I don't like it. Kobe Sutphin almost drifting around these turns right now. It looks like he is going for the win here, charging up to the back bumper of the 21 of Kerr with just 3 to go. Kerr down on the inside. The 19 of Kobe Sutphin doing the same. And look at the momentum coming from the Supra onto the back of the Mustang, coming down the front stretch. The 19 of Kobe Sutphin looking for the pass on the 21. The 21 throws a block, cuts off that. He's got to be dangerous there, or he's got to be careful there, Kyle. Not blocking the 19 too hard. He doesn't need to worry about the 19 winning this race.
Yeah, that was a bit aggressive there, just kind of going down to the bottom there, just being really defensive as you see Creedler go to the inside. He's in front of Johnny Brug here, so I mean, he's doing what he needs to do here.
Brug in a race for his own. You got Oliver Tran on the outside, the 97 of Malarkey as well, the 45 of Val Corey on the inside. The only one that can help Brug in any kind of way here. It's a short track, mile and a half. You're really not going to get a whole lot of push and pull, but there is the 45. He's got damage on the back of his car, but he's trying to do all he can, pushing Johnny Brug down the backstretch here. Kendall Kerr dropped all the way down to third, as you mentioned. Kobe Sutphin leading. John Creedler winning this race, and it looks like Kobe Sutphin down into turn 3, coming out of turn 4 here, and this time by the checkered flag is going to go to the part-timer in Kobe Sutphin, taking the win at Homestead, followed by John Creedler, Kendall Kerr third, Johnny Brug fourth. Just coming up short. We'll have to do some math here. Kyle's going to be all over it. These are the unofficial results, but Kyle, I think it's safe to say, even with the drop weeks, all Kendall Kerr needed to do was have a night like he had to be able to take this championship.
Yeah, and Kendall Kerr is your 2021 or 2022, sorry, season 21 NTRL Xfinity Sunday Series champion.
And winning the 21-12 Classic here is Kobe Sutphin. Kendall Kerr, of course, taking home the big hardware, the Yee car. Gonna be celebrating, or the Yee. I said Yee. Yee. Isn't that like a shirt company or something?
Yeah, I think it's it is a shirt company. It's kind of like a southern brand.
Yeah,
You can tell by the
well,
camouflage.
Yee. Yeah, Yee. The 19 burning down the house again, part-time driver there, taking home a win the last night possible. A good drive by Kobe Sutphin, and honestly, yes, exactly, the 21 car burning it down right now. A phenomenal season for Kendall Kerr. He takes home the 2022 season 21 championship.
Yeah, we're talking about a first-time winner here in the Xfinity series or Sunday series, and talking about AJ Benish, but no, get Kobe Sutphin here in his second career NTRL Xfinity Sunday series start. Really good job for him, and yeah, I mean Creedler in second, but yeah, star of the show here is Kendall Kerr here, getting a little racy there with the 95 or the 19, I guess, with the skin there, but. Yeah, just good racing there, good season, really close championship battle there. Um, yeah, Kendall Kerr just doing a doing a good job there, kind of having those consistent finishes. You know, going to the road course, finishing second. I think that's the real turning point in the season, where it kind of started to solidify stuff for him, where he became the dominant dog there. But yeah, just a good season all around, and look forward to next season.
And to put that into perspective for you guys, before we get into our big championship interviews, this season started right in the middle of January and it ends here in April. So we're talking 3 months of racing. Kyle, we have seen Bristol. We've seen Charlotte Roval. We raced the big tracks at Daytona. We went short track racing at North Wilkesboro. We saw Atlanta Motor Speedway. We saw Watkins Glen International, a stacked schedule for 3 months long. And it all came down to tonight with Kendall Kerr beating everybody for the championship.
Looks like we got Kobe Sutphin ready to go on the other channel here. So hopefully we can get him in for an interview, and we can keep Kendall here for last, kind of talk about his season here.
Yeah, and Creedler, of course, finishing second there. Shout out to the 99 car with Kerr and Brug fourth. Al Corey with a nice top 5 for him. Justin Malarkey, who had another good showing, top 10 for him in 6. Oliver Turan in 7th. Terry Fullwider in that 8th spot. And John Crutchley in 9th. And Scott Kelly in the 34 is rounding out your top 10 there. But right now, we're going to bring in tonight's winner, Homestead, Miami. It's been a while since I talked to this man, Kobe Sutphin. Kobe, you got us?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So a part-time driver, obviously here on Sunday nights. I know you're part of other leagues. You run your own league as well, I believe, on Saturday nights. Um, Coming in here to tonight's race, Kyle and myself were just talking towards the end of this race how the skill gap here at Noto, the drivers um, that are a part of this league, I rating doesn't matter because a lot of these guys strictly just stick to the league racing. The competition here is really second to none here on Sunday nights. You were able to come in here to Homestead, Miami. You worked your way all the way up from, I believe, 20th position. Found yourself into the top 10 early after the first round of green flag pit stops. And then, of course, that caution with just 10 laps to go, being able to get you up to the front and just a charge up to win this race.
Yeah, I was actually really shocked at how clean it was. I'm really glad there is a league out here that is this clean. It's beyond phenomenal for these guys to have this type of racing. We had,
Yeah.
sorry, we had 24, I think, had a misshift or something, which gave me the opening to get down low.
Yeah, Kyle
it goes
mentioned
fast.
something about that on that last restart. The 24 had a misshift. You were able to duck down low, and from there, the rest was history. Kyle, you got any questions for Colby?
Yeah, man, your second start, you ran the Daytona race. I don't know where you finished in that, but yeah, definitely got a better result today. Kind of coming out on top, getting your first Sunday Series win. Took you 2 starts, so yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, that last caution was definitely a lifesaver. But also talking about Daytona, I mean, I had a bad wreck that put me in the bottom 15 probably, I would assume, finish. So this is a good redemption race, and then good momentum into the next season, as Kendall told me. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the top of the broadcast, we mentioned only about a month before we get going on that Sunday schedule. Is this something that you are going to be looking to run full time, or are you going to take this part time role again?
I'm definitely going to try and do this full time. My issue was my work schedule, so I just wasn't able to really jump into these. So now that I'm actually able to, I'm going to be here more often.
Well, that's good news for the league. Good news for us. We're going to send you off there. Congrats. Good talking to you again, Colby. Always good to catch up. Congratulations taking home Homestead.
For sure, for sure. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Next up, the 21 car. We're keeping it simple here, bringing him in directly after Kobe Sutphin. It is the 21 of Kendall Kerr. Kendall, when the race was over, I had brought up in the broadcast, this was a 3-month grueling schedule. You guys went to Bristol, the Roval, Watkins, North Wilkesboro, plate track racing at Daytona International Speedway. To end it here at Homestead, Miami, as the champion, talk to us a little bit about the racing that took place 3 months ago, all the way up to tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's been a blast first and foremost. It's definitely been a grind. Every Sunday night, looking forward to popping down on the rig and just figuring out where we're going to be that week and get a little bit of practice in and get out there and race against all your buddies out there on the track. And that's I don't know if that's something I ever thought I'd be able to accomplish, winning a championship on here, to be honest with you. But I just gotta thank everybody that runs this league, from Sarge on down, all the admin team, Al, Corey. I know Kyle's been involved, Sid. Everybody does such a great job and makes it such a pleasure to just show up and get out there and compete. And the rules stay consistent. 99% of the rulings stay consistent. You guys show up every week, and it's fun to go back and tune in and see what maybe you could have done better or get a different opinion on something. But um, it sometimes it's better to be a little bit lucky than good. And I think there was a few races this season where Johnny was a lot faster than I was, and he just ran into unfortunate circumstances, and we were able to capitalize. We're consistent all season long, and we're able to get it done.
Yeah, good season for you, of course. Congratulations, being the season 21 fitting champion here with your Ford Mustang. Yeah, just talk about those last couple laps there. I know we had a race here tonight, so we can talk about that a little bit. But yeah, you were racing there with Kobe Sutphin. Second time he's been in the Sunday series there. You kind of got a little defensive there, and be straight up with you. I thought it was very, very aggressive, the block with what was on the line there, kind of coming down the front stretch. Yeah, just tell me about what was happening there with Kobe.
Well, I talked to Al Corey last week, and I had kind of done some of the math myself, trying to figure out, with the drop races where I needed to finish. And I was pretty sure that if I just beat Johnny last week, I would be able to clinch it based on my second worst finishing position being sixth as my drop race with a lap led in that race. So I knew if Johnny came out and led the most laps and I didn't lead a lap here tonight, I thought I was going to be okay anyway. So I knew, like, right from the get go, I was just going for the win. And it's just unfortunate we saw that last caution. I think Johnny was the class of the field all night. I don't know if I'd have had anything for him if he didn't have that incident on the way into the pits or not. You hate to see something like that play a factor, a big factor in the race. But I know at the end of that thing, if it stayed green, we definitely had it in the bag. So it was frustrating that we didn't have an extra set of tires to pull down and put on. And I just wanted to be the only one out there doing burnouts at the end here tonight. I'll be honest. So I just tried to do everything in my power and make his life a little bit difficult, and he did a great job, really. I left him just enough space to squeeze through on the outside, and he took advantage. And it was hats off to Kobe as a good move there at the end.
Yeah, it really was. By both of you guys, you allowed him to get that room there last second, and a good job by him making sure he didn't wreck you by any means. Obviously, Brug falling up a little bit short, but he gave you a challenge all the way up until the end. And to be honest with you, I felt like this season has been a season to where we saw a lot of drivers really make a name for themselves over these last couple of months. I mean, when you talk about Malarkey, Creedler, Turan, Fullwider, I could go on. I apologize to anybody I'm not mentioning, but Binish as well. A lot of guys that really stamped themselves on the Sunday night league. We feel up here in the booth, I think Kyle will agree with this. This may have been one of the most competitive seasons, at least of recent memory, just as far as how many drivers were out there competing and doing well. So I think taking home this championship definitely put a feather in your cap on that. Me and you, we met last season. I think you won the Daytona race in the ARCA cars last season. Um, and when we did that interview, I could hear in your voice the excitement, and almost like you couldn't contain yourself. And from that point all the way up till now, coming into the booth, you seem a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more relaxed in the interviews. From the first moment that you and I met in that ARCA series last year to winning the championship now, what is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself as a driver and learned about this league?
I mean, the league has been night and day, honestly, from the start of that Daytona race. I'll be honest with you, I did not win Daytona. I think I've only won one race officially. I've run like three unofficially, and then come up second quite a few times. But
Maybe it was
um,
second then.
I don't know. It might have been Piercini that won Daytona that year. I don't know. I was stuck a lap down in that race, and riding out front a lap down, probably pissing a lot of people off, unfortunately. But just waiting for that lucky dog that never came, and then getting out of the way with three to go. But no, from the start of that ARCA season a season ago to now, I mean, you could see the I ratings on people keep going up and up for that have been here for seasons and seasons, and then they've added a lot of new guys that are very competitive, which is it's always good when you have a lot of competitive guys out there. When you can drive hard into a corner and know that somebody's going to hold their line on exit, it just makes for really fun racing. And I've felt like when we switched the Xfinity car, just this season as a whole, the racing's just gotten better and better and better. And If we were still in the ARCA series, I probably would have saved a set of tires, assuming there was going to be a late race yellow. And tonight, this season we've had so many long green flag runs. I couldn't dare set a set and lose all that time throughout a run. So it's interesting how the league has kind of developed over the last couple seasons, but I definitely think all for the better.
I'd like to jump in here and point out a stat for the year. Now that we've officially kind of got everything lined up with our points, and see that you are in fact double checking that you are the champion. We have had in the 12 races this year, we have had 10 different winners.
That makes it hard to repeat. That would be the one thing I'd throw at this season is wish I could do better, was get to victory lane more often. But when you have Skylar pop in for a one-off, he's going to be tough to beat every time. I know Ryan Andrew in here. I think I finished second to him too, and if he runs full time, it's going to be really, really tough next season too. So I just before I jump out of here, I definitely got to thank the Ready Foundation. They've been my sponsor for a long, long time, and shout out to Brawley Jackson Real Estate out here in North Carolina as well. I know they're a good partner of ours and tune into a lot of races too. So I just really, really thrilled to cap off this one, and had a blast all the way through.
Well, we've had a blast calling it up here. A good stat there, Kyle. Just amazing. 10 different winners, 12 races. It's a quick turnaround till next season, but enjoy your time off as far as the Sunday series go. Kendall, always a pleasure. Congratulations. Your season 21 No Toad Racing League champion.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate all you guys do for the league too, and hopefully we'll be talking to you quite a bit next season too.
All right, that's the 21 of Kendall Kerr taking home the championship here tonight at Homestead, Miami. Kyle, it's been a great time jumping in here. Midway through the season, you've been a tremendous help. It's always tough being a one-man show, producing, camera, calling the races. It's been a pleasure having you up here. I look forward to working with you sometime down the road in one way or another. Certainly keep me in the loop about that Indy League. And for everybody at home, Kyle Gretsch did an amazing job, but this is No Toad Racing League here on Sunday nights. Give us one last quick rundown of No Toad's schedule as it sits right now, as far as different leagues on different nights. Oh, I think Kyle stepped away, so we might not have that information.
Oh, sorry, my bad. My button wasn't working.
That's okay.
No, so we are sitting currently with the Sunday series, which you're watching currently. That is the XFINITY cars. Probably another 12-week season again next year. We have the Monday ARCA series. Just released their schedule. Another 12-week series there. And then we have the Tuesday 1987 series. We do not have the Thursday truck series anymore, unfortunately, but we do have a next gen practice series where we're kind of just testing the next gen out and kind of getting acclimated for it, and potentially maybe have that be the Sunday series car. On Saturdays, we have King of the Hill, which is our kind of like just a bunch of different cars on a bunch of different tracks, kind of like a fun series. That is a championship as well. I'm looking at getting a IndyCar series started late Saturdays that runs 2 races a night, and yeah, that brings you back to your Sunday series. So a lot of variety here for those of you at home, and if anybody would be interested in joining, just check out the description here and join and get your number set up, and you can come run with us.
And it really is as simple as that. This is going to wrap up the Sunday series for now. Again, we go back racing in May. For Kyle Gretsch, I'm Brandon Robinson. This has been iRacing on Faded TV. We appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. With that being said, it is time to sign off. Congratulations to the 21 of Kendall Kerr one last time, taking home the 21 championship. We'll see you in May.